All right, we're live. Hi,
live.
everyone.
Hi. Unless my
Welcome to
Hey.
the Contemporary Corner live show for It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. Sorry that we're late. It's our first one, so we just kind of got to get in the groove of things. So do you guys want to go down the line and, like, say your channels and stuff? Whoever wants to start.
Sure, I'll go
Carolyn.
first, I guess. Oh,
Is-
Carolyn, you go first.
Okay. Am I frozen? 'Cause it looks like I'm frozen on my screen. Or am I good? Or
Looks like you're frozen.
okay.
It looks like everyone's kind of frozen.
Or
Yeah, we can hear you. You're good.
so I'm Carolyn from the channel Bubbly Book Nerd. Yeah, is that just what we're saying?
Yeah.
Cool. Next person.
I'm Dylan. I'm Dylan5 on Instagram. I don't really have a YouTube yet, but soon. So just find me on there until then.
Triss. Oh, okay. Is it me? I'm so bad at this.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm Triss from Triss's Nook on YouTube.
And I'm
So,
Karen from Reading Addiction on YouTube.
is it me? I'm so bad at this.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm Triss from Triss's Nook.
I'm getting some feedback.
And I'm Karen.
Okay, so we want to start like non-spoilery, like our overall thoughts and stuff. So I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I loved it. I thought it was a pretty unique and like realistic story. And for my first Colleen Hoover book, I was very, very impressed.
I'm so glad you liked it for your first Colleen Hoover book. I was worried that it wasn't going to be very good and that you were going to be like, guys, no.
Now I'm like on a Colleen Hoover craze where like I just bought Maybe Someday, so like I'm so excited to like read more by her.
Yeah. I also gave it 5 out of 5 stars. This is not my first one, but I haven't read all of her books, so it's definitely one of my favorite ones that I've read so far.
All right. And Dylan, were you going to go?
You can go. You're fine.
Okay, so I got my copy. I also gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. It was my first Colleen Hoover book, so I was really impressed with it. I really like her writing style, and it's something that I got into really easily. And I really liked the topic of this book in particular. I feel like it's just something that a lot of people should read just because it's not a topic that most authors write about or choose to discuss, so I just think it's good to get that kind of stuff out there, especially in a way that people can relate to.
Okay. So I gave like a 4.75 stars. I know it's like kind of technical, but I loved it, of course, but I don't know, there's just some stuff I had problems with. But I still really liked it. I've read all of her books so far, so yeah, it was really good compared to the other ones.
Is Carolyn still there?
Yeah, I think I'm frozen. Can you guys at least hear me? Right?
Yeah.
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 Okay. My face looks frozen. I can see myself in the corner and I'm just sitting there, but
Yeah.
basically I'm holding up my book right now, but you probably can't see it. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. It was also my first Colleen Hoover book, and I really mostly read YA, but even though I'm kind of the fetus of the group, like I'm kind of fine with, I guess, like the mature stuff in this. I'm really glad I started with this since I think it dealt with a lot of things that I haven't seen dealt with in YA, and I think it was very realistic and a really fun read. So yeah, also really deep. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really know what else like spoiler. Do you guys have any like non-spoiler thoughts to say, or do you want to like get right into the spoiler discussion?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think there is anything that we could really say that's non-spoilery. I think
Yeah.
you should go in not
Besides
knowing anything
recommending
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really helped.
Did we just want to announce the next book and then just go into spoiler talk?
Yeah. So.
I don't remember the name of it.
Does anyone have it open?
Just don't-
Yep, it's
Yeah.
The Memory of Things by Gay Holshner.
Poisoner.
I'm not sure if I'm saying that last name right.
I'll put the link
Yeah.
up I'll put the Goodreads link or something of the book in the description down below, so that you guys can go and see
Look at
what
it.
we're talking about.
But if I remember, this is the one about 9/11, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
that-
again,
then we'll have-
it's another like tough topic kind of
I know.
book.
Yeah.
But that's good. I love tough topics.
Yeah. No, I think it's gonna be a good book.
Yeah. So just make sure to look on our Twitter and our YouTube channels, my Instagram or whatever, and we'll have more information about when the live show is and whose channel it's on.
Yep. And we have another host. It's Kelly from Kelly's Book Spell, but she isn't able to make it right now. So now. But just want to let you guys know that she's still part of the club.
Yeah. She is. She just can't charge her laptop. So.
Yeah. Technical issues. It always happens. All right. So I guess we can get to spoilery thoughts, the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yay.
We can either start with like a plot. Do you guys want to talk about the characters?
I think we should start with characters because I think that was like her strong point in this book was
100%.
such good arcs on those characters,
Yeah.
especially Alyssa. I want a spin-off series with Alyssa and Marshall.
I would love that. Oh, I adore
That'd be awesome.
I love their relationship.
Yeah, their friendship was so awesome. I was like, I want a friend like Alyssa, honestly.
I think everyone
Okay.
needs a friend like Alyssa.
Yeah. Okay, what did everyone think of Ryle? Let's start out.
Uh,
Oh,
I think
want
my
to
tag
ease into
says
that
it.
one.
oh my goodness, we should.
Yeah, I will
At the
say
beginning, I liked him.
I did too. I started really off liking him, and I was scared that Atlas was going to be the bad guy. Like, I totally started off thinking that Atlas had abused her or, like, raped her in, like, the past or something, and that's what we were going to find out in those journal entries. I was, like, just
Oh my
waiting
goodness,
for
that
it.
was like one of the plot lines I was worried about.
Yeah. So then when it, like, that first kitchen scene where he just, like, pushed her back, I was like, what? No!
Yeah.
And then it was all downhill.
Him in the
I
beginning.
thought the exact same thing. So, like, oh, God, I was, like, that kitchen scene, like, I felt like dizzy. I was like, what just happened? Like, and I was so attached to Ryle, especially as a new Grey's Anatomy fan. Like, I was just so
Yeah.
excited about his character, and I was like, no, please.
Oh my gosh. See, I didn't like him from the very beginning. So I had trouble getting through the beginning of the book because, like, every little thing about him started to irk me. Like, I didn't like the rooftop scene. Like, I didn't like his personality and like
When he was, like, beating up the chair.
yeah, like he just showed like just aggressive and like just kind of douchey behavior from the
Or he
very
was like, let me have sex with you. He's like, please have sex with me.
yeah, and then
Oh, I'm like, no, that
one
scene.
night stand, like, I don't want to get married and have kids. And then I was like, and then he just seemed like lusting over her, like, so much. And I was like, dude, take a step back, homie.
Right.
That's what made me, like, not like him very much. I was kind of up in the air with him. Like, he was kind of cute, but most of the time I was just kind of, like, iffy about him. But that scene where he, like, goes to her apartment and, like, gets on the floor and starts, like, begging her for sex, I was like,
Yeah.
Oh, God.
no, you're so pathetic, dude. Like, I couldn't do it after that. He was just like,
I was like, that's
no,
not
I'm like, everything is wrong with this scene.
That's not hot.
Yeah.
making me uncomfortable. I was like, please just stop. Leave.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I'm not. That's not okay.
Yeah, I definitely liked him right up into the kitchen scene when he pushed her that first time. Like, all the other stuff, like, I didn't even, like, think really that negatively about him. I was just like, oh, he's, like, you know, one of those domineering male leads, and he's gonna have his flaws,
Yeah.
but I definitely
The
didn't catch the flag
think-
that she was
yeah.
throwing.
the thing is, I didn't think Colleen Hoover was going to go that route. Like, I didn't think she would push the boundaries that much.
It was kind of interesting how she did it. It hurt my heart when she like would think about her mother and stuff, like when she was a kid and like watching it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and then have it happen to her, and how she would like reflect and think about like her like parents' relationship stuff. Like, oh, that made me so sad. That like just hurt my heart.
I just
I really
Alyssa's
liked how
comedic
she
relief.
kind of,
Oh.
yeah, but I liked how the author kind of eased into it.
hmm
Because, like, in the beginning, I was like, okay, it's going to be about, like, abuse, it's going to be about, like, rape, but you didn't get a whole lot of that in the beginning,
Mhm.
and I was confused because Dylan had told me, like, what the big issues were, and I was like, I'm not really seeing it in the book yet. Like, she mentioned her mom and dad had, like, terrible fights. I'm like, this doesn't seem super bad, but then, like, it progressed into more, and I'm like, whoa. Like,
Yeah.
it got really bad really quick, and
Yeah.
it just kind of, like, took a turn. And
Well, and that
I
was the
wasn't
other
entirely
thing.
expecting that. Like,
I definitely thought, because, yeah, there was a thing in the chat where he said that there was, like, trigger warnings for that. So I thought it was just the parents' relationship
Yeah, that's what I thought.
yeah,
that was going to be that way. I did not see it coming necessarily, which I probably should have. I mean, it was foreshadowed enough. I was just not looking at the signs for it, but
yeah. I was really hoping that it was just going to be the parents' relationship and just, like, how she kind of dealt with what her parents had to go through, but
Yeah.
it didn't stay that way. I was
Oh,
hoping, though.
Carolyn, you're not frozen anymore.
Yeah, I just decided to refresh the page, and that seems to have worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay! Welcome back.
Yeah, I've kind of been here the whole time, but my face has just been like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm moving now. Yay.
Yeah, but I liked how she had all the side characters kind of gave comedic relief. Especially Alyssa, of course.
Yeah,
I just
Alyssa's-
love her as yeah. Colleen Hoover's strength in writing is definitely her. I mean, she's an awesome writer anyways, but her biggest strength is probably side characters.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
I loved all the side characters. Like, I would have happily taken another book just about like Alyssa and Marshall. They were just so like funny and just like fun to read about. Like,
I want
it
at least
kinda-
a novella.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Like, I feel like something like
That would
really
be
cute and funny could happen to them, and it'd just be a really good short story.
or even
I'll probably look up
Atlas.
fan fiction.
Yeah.
Atlas and his friends
We
from the
should write a
poker
fan
game.
fiction. I want to see
Yeah.
more on them because they were
Yeah.
like the only people who could like talk to Lily and not make it this big serious issue. They kind of added the comedic relief to it, and she really needed that. So I want to see more of her like relating to people like that.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite scenes of the book, was her at the poker game and them just being like, "What's wrong with you?" And she was like, "Well, my husband beat the shit out of me."
And they're like,
He's just like,
Yep.
"Okay."
what do you guys think of Atlas? I personally really liked Atlas. My favorite parts were the diary entries and like seeing her like look back at it like as an adult, you know? And like I love how she like wrote him to Ellen and stuff. Like, oh
Yeah.
Yes.
That,
I love
that
Ellen
Ellen
so
thing
much.
was awesome.
yeah.
Ellen's my favorite.
And then I like
I really liked.
later.
Oh.
Mhm.
It's cutting out. Anyways, I really liked Atlas as a character. Like, I feel like he
Yeah.
was what she needed at the time, but then there's like some parts in the book where it just felt like it was too soon.
Mhm.
Honestly, yeah. But honestly, I didn't really like the ending, how they ended up together, because
I
I mean,
hated the ending.
because I want her to have time to like find herself.
That's what I read
Yeah.
too. Like I think
That's what I wanted.
yeah. I think that like he was there for her like as a good friend, but I don't know if they should have had a romantic connection like that soon after she
Yeah.
that horrible experience with Ryle and stuff, and now that she has to like focus on like the baby
Yeah.
and stuff, like I don't think like getting with Atlas at the very end was a good idea.
I feel
feel
like
like
I
that
have
was
a hard- Ooh, you can go, Tris. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. But I think that was something that was like discussed on the spoiler page too, was like, I don't remember who said it, but someone commented like, what would Ryle think when he heard that they were together so soon after their breakup? And like
Yeah.
that really got me thinking like, even if the author
Yeah,
could
that
just
he's
like
gonna beat her
expand
up.
on the ending. Like, he is in possession of her daughter. Like, he is a father to her daughter. And she just dropped her daughter off with a guy that she knows is an abuser and then goes and gets together with another guy that she knows triggers his abuse.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, even for, like, the safety of your daughter, put your daughter first and, like, wait for the relationship.
Yeah.
That
I'd be
bugged
interested
me.
to see how that goes, like the custody battle.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel like I had a lot of trouble liking Atlas at first. Like, I really loved the diary entries, and I thought those were really interesting to read because I haven't really seen a lot of adults, like, looking back at their teenage years without, I don't know, it seeming
Yeah.
kind of condescending. But um, I feel like because I was so attached to Ryle at the beginning, even though, like, there were a lot of times where I was, like, cringing at his decisions, like, I was like always like, no, like I don't want there to be anything between Atlas and Lily. But then I feel like it didn't really make sense for that at the end anyway. Like even though I kind of am biased as a former Ryle fan, I don't know, like it
Yeah.
just it felt very sudden. It was like, whoa, like I thought the whole point was that she was just getting out of a relationship, and now it's like all of a sudden Atlas. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. She needs
I
more
really,
time.
yeah, I just think she needed the time.
Mhm.
I don't know if it was as surprising to like as to you guys it was to me, but when she found out that Atlas went to that abandoned house to kill himself, I was just really surprised. I don't know why I didn't see that coming. I don't know if anyone else did,
I didn't
but
see it coming, but it didn't entirely surprise me.
Yeah, but
I
yeah,
didn't really care,
But-
to be honest. I didn't really care about Atlas that much, and I know that's probably mean. I didn't.
I don't think there was enough
feel
of him.
anything for his character.
Yeah.
Like
I didn't
all
get
we got was
emotionally
little
invested.
snippets.
yeah,
We just got little snippets from the letter, and then it was a very skewed perspective of him. And
Yeah.
then when we finally meet him, like, yeah, he was like the hero, but then it was like, is he, or is he like just still in love with her? And
Yeah.
I just kept waiting for him to do something wrong. So
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting how she like kept like the little like magnet and stuff, and how she had that tattoo of like the
yeah,
little, like wooden heart that he made her and stuff, and how she like moved to Boston. I thought that was really interesting that like she obviously like had really strong
obsessed.
connection with him to like kind of hold on to him for like so long. Like that was really really interesting to me. But I was like,
Yeah, I didn't really find that part of it very realistic, but I was able to like look not like it didn't bother me.
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys find it surprising when they found out that she was pregnant?
Honestly, that's the part that probably surprised me the most because I didn't expect that. Mostly because like they had mentioned before she wasn't trying, they really weren't. They had like just barely started talking about this, and so as someone who's like recently in a marriage is well, like I'm taking every precaution to like not until I'm ready. And so I was just kind of taken back by that. And then it also had like the realism to it too because like it happens no matter how hard you try, it can still happen.
Yeah.
Right. And there was that whole scene in her office where it was clearly a spur of the moment
Yeah.
encounter. So I was like, well, I mean, obviously they weren't being safe, so
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that's what happens.
Well, then it mentioned too that she forgot to take her pill like half the time.
Right.
Yeah, like there's obviously some flaws. Like in the beginning, it was like when it was like right after she hired Alyssa, and he was like, "I have to go." He says, "I'm really late, but one, I'm never going to do this again. This will be the last you see me. I promise." I'm like, your sister is her employee. You're going to see each other again.
That part bothered me.
I was like,
That part bothered me so much.
I feel like he could have said something else besides that, and like it's pretty clear to like any reader, like yeah, of course they're gonna cross paths again. I mean, he's the clear love interest right now. So I was like, come on, Colleen, like maybe something else there instead of just like never gonna see you again, because that doesn't make sense. But
I feel like he was too whiny sometimes when he didn't get his way. Like when she rejected the one night stand. Like I think that's why he liked her so much, is just because she wasn't like any other girl that would just be like, okay, you're really handsome, let's go have some fun. And it kind of threw him back, and he got really mad because he didn't get what he wanted immediately.
Yeah.
I also didn't really like that they like just went and got married, you know?
Yeah.
That was annoying.
Like literally the whole time I'm cringing. I'm like, oh my god, that's a bad idea. Like on the plane right there, they're talking about things that like you're supposed to talk about throughout the relationship.
Before you even decide to get married.
So like that like totally bad. Like that's when I kind of started to notice like, oh my god, this is gonna end up so badly. Like already I was like, I'm so scared for them that I was
He's trapping you. He's trapping you.
so much anxiety. I was like, no, don't do it. You should be talking about these things beforehand, like for a while before you get married. I was like, no.
that's a big pet peeve for me too. Like, I think that happens a lot in TV shows. Like I watch a lot of Netflix, and like in a series I'm in the middle of right now, like that just happened where like a couple was like, oh yeah, like let's get married right now, and like off the bat, like I'm like, well, now I know they're gonna get divorced. Like if they're gonna go get married tonight in Vegas, like this isn't gonna last. Like,
Right.
like when in a story has that ever like worked out? You know, I was just like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, no,
Well, plus I think it was just too soon after, like, he had, like, maybe even, like, months before, had just proven that he's an abuser, and then she goes and jumps into a marriage with this guy without even giving it enough time to see, like, if he is seriously saying, I'm going to stop, or if he just said that to keep the girl.
Which, I mean, I really like that part of the story where it really put us in our head. It really made us understand people who are in abusive relationships, like, how hard it is to get out. Because, like, one minute she would love him, the next minute she would hate him. And one minute he would, like, in the kitchen scene, like, he pushed her. He was like, oh, my God, baby, are you all right? It's like...
Or, like, on the stairs, when he was like, oh, you tripped and you hit your head, are you okay? And she's looking at him like, I'm pretty sure you just pushed me. Like, he was like, oh, you tripped, you hit your head. Like, and it made me think about, like, when she was talking about her mom, and she was like, why didn't she ever leave? Like, you know, she's like, I had no respect for her. Like, why didn't she ever just leave him? And then when she got placed in that position, then she realized how hard it was for her to try to do that. And I thought that was really powerful.
Yeah. So the other thing that I personally really didn't like was the excuse that she kind of gave him for his behavior by saying, like, what he witnessed with his brother and what happened, and, like, this is why he has anger issues. And I'm like, no, like, it doesn't, like, that's a terrible thing that happened, but you still don't get to hit people. Like, that annoyed me.
Yeah, my notes I wrote, when you talk about how he blacks out, I was like, aw, still don't like you, though. You can go to hell for all I care.
That doesn't give you an excuse to, like, abuse her. Like, that, like, there's no excuse for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, plus the timing of when he said it, I think I noted that was, like, he basically told her right after he had attacked her.
Yeah, the first time.
I'm like, okay, that's really good and all that you're telling her this, but that's something that you need to tell her before
before she gets
do
involved.
Anything, and like before, not like right after you hurt her, because to me it just felt like he was playing the guilt card, like, oh, please don't leave me because this horrible thing happened in my childhood, so I have an excuse, like it's not my fault. But
honestly,
you know, step up.
Yeah, if I could describe Ryle in one word, it'd be pathetic.
Basically, he was.
It also just reminded me that he only told her because of that incident. Like, if that incident hadn't happened, he clearly never would have told her what happened.
Yeah.
Because didn't Alyssa have to, like, push that out of him, too?
Yeah.
Like, I remember that
she had to, like, make him
like, does she know?
Tell her.
Which, speaking of Alyssa, the scene where Lily finally tells her what's really been happening, like, after, like, she tells her I'm pregnant, and, like, this is what your brother's been doing, and she's like, as your friend, don't ever go back to him, but as his sister, I hope you can work it out. Like, that was, like, the first time I actually, like, got sad and, like, cried in the book. Like,
Yeah.
that was, like, the first time.
It was so hard for her, too, because her best friend, like, everyone that she knows there is related or somehow connected to Ryle. And she was, like, so afraid to tell them because that's all she has in her life is Alyssa and whatever his name is, her husband.
Marshall.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I thought that was interesting.
I just
Yeah,
really liked how much of a support Alyssa was.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was afraid she'd be like, no, you're lying. You need to get out of my house or whatever.
Mhm. I think it was good though that like, or at least it was like interesting that Colleen like had it so that the people who Lily would like go to for help all had like sort of a bias, because I think that would be somewhat realistic. Like, if someone who, I mean, you were so connected to, like, if you're married to someone, like, everyone in your life must know them really well, and they must know you really well. So it would be kind of tough because everyone kind of has a bias based on their thoughts in that person. But I thought it was really interesting because she talked to like different people about it, and she kind of had different experiences with different people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Lily's own mom had a bias and really liked Ryle.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
I really liked her and Alyssa working together to like put the flower shop together, and I like the idea of like the steampunk.
yes, I loved that.
So cute. I was like, I would be so down to buy flowers from there. I was like, that's so badass and awesome. I was like, oh, that made me so happy.
We need a flower shop like that.
I know, I was like, I want that to be real. I want to buy flowers there.
Right? I was like, oh my god, that's so awesome. That's such a good idea. And I was like, I was happy to see her like, doing what she wanted and like being successful. Like, I was like, that made me really happy.
Yeah.
Her name was really weird, though. Like, Lily, what was her full name?
Lily Blossom.
Lily Bloom. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, Lily
Lily
Blossom
Blossom.
Bloom.
Blossom Bloom.
Yeah, I was like, that's a little cliche. I was like,
Who does that to their kid? No.
right?
Oh my goodness.
Like,
Yeah.
not digging the name, to be honest. That just felt over the top.
Yeah.
For her to be interested in gardening and flowers and stuff, I was kind of like,
Yeah.
that was pulling at strings there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was I think Lily itself would have been fine. I
Right?
don't think we needed the middle and the last name to be all flower related.
Do you guys have any parts that you liked, like specifically?
Let me look.
I was kind of like dying with all the things about the onesies, especially like I ended up like reading the scene a bunch of times, and I think I have it tabbed somewhere in here. But I think they actually went on a Wednesday, and I do a thing on my channel called Onesie Wednesday that I'm like just starting out. So I was like freaking out because like, fellow onesie fans over here like wearing onesies on Wednesday, and I was like, oh my gosh, these are my people. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought that was really funny. And like how intimate like Marshall and stuff got.
Yeah. Even though he's like a multi-millionaire, he's like,
Yeah.
I'm free beer.
Yeah, right, they're like, we can buy as much as we want, but he's like, no, you gotta go to ones to get the free beer. Like, that was so quirky and funny, and I was like, because like Marshall like just seemed like the type of guy that would so be down to do that.
Yeah.
And I was like, that just fit him, like, his character so well.
I kind of pictured him as Marshall from How I Met Your Mother, because he's like,
Me
he
too.
kind of seems like this
Yeah.
smart guy, but like he's also like a total child. I just love that so much about him.
I could so see that. Oh my gosh.
Wait, is Marshall like the really tall, like Jason sequel?
Yeah, that's him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Marshall.
Oh my gosh, I could so see it.
Would you guys want to see a movie of this? I feel like they'd make it too much like a Lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it being in that category. I mean, I got like so much of like a Grey's Anatomy vibe from this, but I feel like in movie form it would end up being more Lifetime-y and
Yeah.
I think a movie would be interesting, but I don't know if you get the kind of depth, of the characters, like, of the situation that you get from the book, and, like, kind of seeing more from Lily's perspective. But I think a
It would
movie might be
definitely.
watch it.
It would definitely need to be rated R.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Especially knowing movies, like they might cut some of that stuff out and make it not as intense. But I mean, if they kept it like just as intense in the book, like definitely would be a rated R movie.
Yeah.
Well, even though I haven't read any of Colleen's other books, I feel like they wouldn't make this into a movie because they're making Ugly Love into a movie, I think. And from what I've seen, they're marketing that as more of a 50 Shades of Grey. And you really, like, I don't know, if that were to do well and they'd want the next movie to be somewhat similar, like, you couldn't market this to be that same kind of thing because it does have a lot of those scenes, but that's definitely not the focus.
Well, I'm hoping Ugly Love is a flop, so hopefully they still make it is what that's after.
I love Ugly Love, and that is a book that's about friends with benefits. So I think that's kind of why it's marketed that way, because they're like no strings attached kind of relationship, or at least
I think they would make the movie. Yeah, but I think they'd make the movie like more of like a Gone Girl, like how they shot Gone Girl, maybe like that.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that too.
I got a lot of Gone Girl vibes while reading this, like especially towards the middle and the end.
What else? Do you guys have any other like specific thoughts?
Well, I guess like what I liked the most about it was just the fact that it took Lily's perspective, which I thought was very important to the book, especially on a topic like that, just because it gave you the side of the abused versus like a side of someone watching someone abused, so it gave you more insight and understanding into how, like we mentioned earlier, like how hard it is to leave someone, especially when you love them, and like how hard it is to be in a situation like that and to just get yourself out of it. And so it gave me more perspective on people who are like in abused relationships as well, and just more understanding, I felt like, just because it took her side.
Yeah. I feel like I'd want to see what are they called? Like a spin-off of like a companion book of this book and Ryle's point of view, maybe, just to see what was inside of his head more.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it wasn't like black and white. Like there was gray areas with every character. Like obviously Ryle wasn't like all bad, He had like good qualities about him, and like that's what I thought was interesting because it's like you kind of could see and like feel for him at times. Because you kind of just see every characters and every part of them. I thought was really interesting because it wasn't just black and white, like, Ryle's bad, Bubba's good. Like, there was definitely, like, grayed areas with every character. And so
until he tried to bite off her tattoo.
Yeah.
I mean.
We're like,
oh, that part freaked me out so much.
Pathetic thing.
I was like, did not, like, I was worried about the tattoo. When we found out that it was where she used to get kissed from Atlas or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this isn't going to be good. Like, obviously that's going to come up later. And, yeah, I didn't expect him to try to bite it off, though.
I thought he really was going to bite it off.
Yeah.
I was, like, cringing right there. I was freaking out.
You guys like how they named the daughter Riley? I don't know how I feel about that.
Can they take back names?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it was sweet and all, but I feel like if she really knew her brother, she wouldn't even give him that honor.
Yeah, I was like, he didn't deserve that.
What did Lily name her kid? I forget.
I don't even remember.
I don't remember. But I will say, while you're looking at that, the only line that I wrote down that I really liked was when she was talking about, and I think Tris, you were mentioning this earlier, is that people spend so much time wondering why the women don't leave. Where are all the people who wonder why the men are even abusive? Is that where we should be placing the blame? Like, and it was true because I kept thinking through it, and she thought about it, her mom, like, why aren't you leaving? But, like, it wasn't until that moment that I stopped, and I was like, oh yeah, why aren't I wondering why he's being abusive? Like, why? Mm-hmm. It is totally a mindset that we have, is that it's up to the woman to leave, when really it should be up to the guy to not abuse. Yeah, so I did like that she pointed that out, that's like a thing with society. It's like, well, why don't you leave him?
Well, that was like, I think that was another big thing, especially on the Goodreads discussion, because I know one person said like they took Ryle's side, and I think it really helped just to like get the point across that no matter what, it's never the girl's fault.
Right.
And like I know I have that mindset now, but I know it's not completely perfect, and so the book kind of helped me to like not completely place blame on the woman, because, and I mentioned this in one of my comics, I'm like, basically she can do whatever she wants in this relationship, right or wrong. She has the option to do that. She could have totally been cheating on him up and down like all of Boston, and he still had no right to even lay a hand on her whatsoever. And I think that's something that's really important to remember.
And I loved when Lily said that in the book too, when she was like, you could have walked in on me sleeping with him, and you still don't get to hit me.
That was
like,
my
yes,
favorite
Lily.
part.
Yes.
Mm.
So.
But I think that one of the things that really got the message across to me was having a character who really, really knew how wrong abuse is and had seen it happen, and like she was so hard because it wasn't like it was someone who was new to the issue. So it was like seeing like an extreme of like someone who really knew how evil abuse could be, and like they could like they knew how damaging it was to someone else in their life and to themselves, and they still like had trouble with it because it's so hard to leave someone when you're that attached. But at the same time, it's not her job to leave, it's his job to stop abusing. But yeah, I thought that made it really interesting that she already had knowledge on the subject. Yeah.
For me, it really hit me at the end when the baby was born, and when she kind of was thinking about it, and she was like I made my decision, like, I want a divorce, and he gets all whiny, and then she's like, what if our daughter had come to you and had said that blah, blah, blah had abused her? You know what I mean? Like she started putting words, you know, that he did, and he was like, that's when he kind of realized, like, I messed up, and I messed up badly. Like, that really hit me when he was talking about their daughter, like, and how he would feel if their daughter had come and talked about someone had abused her. Like, oh my God, that really, really hit me.
Yeah, then she's like, it ends with us. I was like, okay, that's where the title came from.
Yeah.
I was so happy when the title was not something related to a guy.
Yes. Yes.
I was really waiting so long. I was like, where's the title coming to play? And then I read it, and I was like, there's the punchline.
Did you guys read the author's note?
Yeah. It was so
I love the author's note.
Oh, you have to go read it.
I was like, wait, did I miss it?
I think I did.
Basically, the book is based on on her parents' relationship. If you didn't read it.
Oh,
it was really sad.
I usually like flip through that stuff, but I don't think I really read it then. Like I think I remembered her mentioning Ellen DeGeneres and
Yeah. But yeah, she does talk about that it's loosely based on her parents' relationship. That was like the second time I cried, was reading the author's note to know that it was like real for her.
Yeah.
Well, I think it also affirmed like the storyline too, because it said like in the author's note, she's like, the mother I know is not weak, and I felt like that was really important, especially for readers, because Lily wasn't really a weak character.
Right.
And the author didn't write her like that. I think the author kind of focused on Lily as her mother, kind of. And as far as like being in an abusive relationship, I think Lily was a really strong character and kind of handled that whole situation very maturely and like very strongly, and did the best that she could possibly do in that situation under the circumstances.
Yeah. My favorite part, well, one of my favorite parts is when she said, it's when she first told him to get out of the house. She's like, I swear, Ryle, you overreacted before giving me the chance to explain. I say to him, now get the F out of my apartment. I was like, go. You go, Lily.
Speaking of the apartment, did anyone else really cringe when he just like bought her a new apartment? And was like, by the way, we're moving here.
Yeah, I didn't like they didn't make
even ask
together. That bothered me. Like, they should have been apartment hunting together.
Yeah.
Was that after they got married or before?
I think it was right after.
It might have been before, or right after, or maybe somewhere in between.
Because that's just kind of weird.
I think it was right after, because they were in Alyssa's apartment when they were like, let's get married. I think. I don't know.
No, I think it was before they got married, I believe, because it was right when he was like, I got offered a job out in some other state, and she was like, I can't move. My florist shop is here. And so he was like, okay, I'll stay. And then he was like, but I bought a new apartment.
Okay, yeah.
And I was just like,
Yeah.
so you'll only stay here if you make her leave everything that's hers, so she has nothing of her own? Okay.
Yeah.
I see where
Yeah,
this
and
is
then,
going.
Yeah, and then when she talked about how, like, she had trouble, like, going into the apartment and stuff, and, like, it just, like, she just felt so trapped. Like, everything he did just made her feel, like, not herself, and, like, just kind of, like, took everything from her. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that bothered me. Let's see. What else can we talk
I
about?
thought it was kind of stupid when he found Atlas's number in her phone, like in the phone case. I thought that was kind of stupid of her. Like, why wouldn't you just put it in your phone and throw away the paper, or just throw away the paper?
Yeah.
Why should she have to? Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
why is it a bad
yeah,
thing to have someone's phone number? Like, I have a million people's phone numbers in my phone.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the kind of person who puts stuff in my phone case. Like right now, I have a $10 bill and a hotel card from this weekend, and I always forget it's there. So I was like, that's me right there. Like, but I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I would have entered that information since it's in your phone case, and it's kind of hard to forget when it's there. But maybe her
Yeah.
phone is probably solid and
Yeah.
you can
Well,
see
for some reason, I pictured it like in the back of her phone, like shoved like in where her battery is. Like that's how I pictured it in my mind. So like it was like super secretive. But like even still, even if she was being secretive about hiding the number, like it still.
Which I mean, she shouldn't be secretive about it because it's like it's her
Right.
friend.
Mm-hmm.
Well, plus he didn't even know who it was. He just kind of assumed and jumped to conclusions.
Yeah.
And that right there was
And
like
then
one of
called
her
it and got the voicemail.
clues.
Was like, oh, you have
Yeah,
Atlas's number
that
in
should
your
have been a
phone.
clue
Now I get to hit
to
you.
her. Like, no, nope, not even a good reason there.
Yeah, like yes, the things she did, she should have been in a good, healthy relationship. You should be honest and like not be hiding
Yeah.
numbers and not like lying about why you have a magnet. But sorry, there's just like a cat outside my window, like in heat or something. But he still doesn't give him a right, even though she was being shady and not being honest. It's still not okay.
Yeah, he was out of line the whole book, obviously.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, one thing that bothered me is that, like, he would get so salty about, like, Atlas and stuff, but then I think about, like, the beginning of the book when Ryle talks about, like, all the girls he had, like, one night
Yeah.
Like it's okay for him, but it's not okay for her.
Right? I was like, that really bothered me, like, from the beginning. I was like, okay, like, you can get mad at her for talking to Atlas, but yet you can have years of just having one night stands and talking to other
Right.
people. Like, what
And
if he was
she's
still talking to them?
probably
Like,
slept with like.
Don't go outside. Don't go.
I feel like since he's coming out of a habit of literally like never doing any kind of relationship except for one night stands,
Out there.
like I feel like there's more of a reason for her to not trust him than
Yeah.
like he could go back to that. Whereas I mean she was in love with the guy when she was like 16,
Lexi.
Like, he just wasn't ready for this kind of relationship, like, at all. And, like, then when he met her and he kind of got thrown into it, like, with the marriage and the child and stuff, like, you can tell, like, he was not in a place to start a relationship like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, are you guys this was your first book? Are you looking to read other ones now? I know, Kaitlyn, you said you wanted to, but...
Yeah, definitely.
I will definitely be picking up.
Yeah, I
I'm
put
out of
Psalm on
Colleen
my
Hoover
birthday
books.
wish list, so
Yeah, I'm out of Colleen Hoover books to read.
I just went to the bookstore and I should have picked up some Colleen Hoover.
I know.
Yeah, no,
I'm so mad. Like, I might just have to start rereading because I don't think a book comes out till next year.
Didn't one come out this year and like no one talked about it? Like I was looking through the list on Goodreads of all of her books and it was like
Oh, is it like too late?
Yeah, I
I
think
think
she did like
It
so.
an
was a
ebook release.
Yeah, it was like it was only on Wattpad, which I read in
Oh,
like
okay.
2 hours.
I thought that was like kind of strange. I was like the last time I remembered a book coming out was I think November 9th and I was like a
Really
lot of people
good.
were talking about it and I was like, why is no one talking about this one? Like
Yeah.
another book. But that really
November 9th was really good. Ugly Love is hit or miss. Some people like it, some people
Oh,
don't.
I've heard mixed things about that one.
Yeah. That one's a little more, I think, a little more adult than necessarily like new adult.
yeah, that has a lot of sexiness time that's very graphic.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of good things about Maybe Someday, so I think that might be.
Yeah, I read that last month. I read that in Confess last month. I read like maybe Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't read that one yet, so I
Okay, I've
can't
heard
speak
a lot
to
of
that
good
one.
things about that one. So that one or Slammed, I might pick up.
Yeah, Slam seems to be super hit or miss because isn't that like a big age gap in the relationship too?
Yeah.
Well, it's a
Um,
teacher and
yeah,
student relationship, which is a little controversial.
Hmm.
yeah. But he's only like 1 or 2 years older, which isn't too bad. But um,
Yeah, it's
Slammed is her
18 and
first book.
21.
Hmm.
So, so the girl's 18, the guy's 21.
Yeah,
But
Yeah, that one
I
kind of.
don't know.
Yeah, that one I've heard kind of mixed things.
It's her first book, so it's very hit or miss.
Okay.
yeah, there's a lot of 5 stars, a lot of 2 stars out of my friends on Goodreads, so it'll be
So
interesting.
what's your favorite?
What's that?
I said, like, was for those that have read like all of Colin Hoover's books, which ones are your favorites?
My favorite is Ugly Love, then November 9th, and then It Ends With Us.
Okay.
And then
I
Slam.
don't. Yeah, for me, I don't. The thing is, her books are so good. Besides Ugly Love, that's my least favorite. Um, that it's kind of hard to rank them because I kind of like them all the same. So, Point of Retreat, which is the second book in the Slammed duology or trilogy, the third one's not that shouldn't count because it sucks. But um, so I think it'd go like Point of Retreat, November 9, Slammed, then Confess, not Ugly Love. Confess, maybe someday. And like I don't know how to rank it because they're all like together. Because I rated them all like almost 5 stars, I think.
Yeah,
The
that
very
is true. Like, I did give them all like 5 stars, so it is hard to say like which one is like my favorite 5 star, but that's my order of preference.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, I
like
remember
them.
November 9 when I first read it last year. I got it on my phone so I could read during school without being too noticeable. And then it was when I still worked at Carson's, and we were dead. And so I was sitting behind the register on my phone just reading the book and like trying so hard not to cry in case like a manager or a customer walked up.
Yeah, no,
I will say Slammed made me cry the most out of, well, Slammed and Ugly Love. Those two made me cry the most out of her books.
Yeah, I love putting me in a reading slump. I couldn't read a book for like a month after that.
excellent.
Hmm.
Clearly, Dylan and I have difference in
I
opinions
know,
in the Colleen Hoover rankings.
Yeah.
Ish.
Um,
It's weird because Whitney, I was talking to her earlier, and she's like, I think she loved Ugly Love, but she hates Slammed, and so it's her books those two are very like hit and miss for people.
Yeah. Oh, now I'm gonna read both of them and see where I stand.
Yeah.
Curious.
And Helpless is very hit or miss too.
yeah, I haven't read Hopeless yet. I have it. I need to.
That's her only YA book.
Okay.
But I feel like It Ends With Us is going to be like less hit or miss because I think that you could definitely find problems with it.
Yeah.
But like overall, I feel like it's hard not to at least like see a lot of good in it too. So
That's
yeah,
her
I'm
highest
hoping
ranking book. That's her book with the highest rating on Goodreads, I think, right now.
Yeah, it's like a
almost like
4.66, I think.
Yeah, it's like almost a complete
Mhm.
5 stars, which is awesome.
Yeah, no, that's a
Yeah.
good reading.
The only other book I've seen like that high with like a 4 point something, I think A Court of Mist and Fury was like 4.7 at some point. Um, so yeah, it's 4.66. So
Yeah.
that's
Next
really
month's
high.
book almost has a 5 stars too, which is cool.
Already?
Yeah.
The Memory of Things?
I'm excited
Mhm.
about that one. I'm really
Yeah.
interested in that book.
Yeah, I'm excited because it was not even on my radar until we decided to read it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was like, I have
exactly.
no idea what this book is, so
Yeah, I'm so glad like not having an excuse to like read it or like an incentive to read it. Like that makes me
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I
Mhm.
remember like when we found it, like I was scrolling through like pages and pages of upcoming releases on Amazon, and that was like almost a dozen pages in. Like there was like not there's not really a lot of hype for it, so I'm really hoping people will read it. I don't know. I saw that Books of Wonder is doing an event, so maybe that'll get some people, at least in the New York area, to read
Yeah.
it. But yeah, I'd love to
We'll
see reviews
probably
and
yeah.
stuff for
We'll probably like the hipsters, and we'll be the first people to actually read it.
We'll
I
start
just hope it's done well
Yeah.
and it's not like I'm a little nervous about it that it's like
I hope
gonna
it's not
be
too depressing.
I hope they
Like I hope it's
this, you know, because they're taking such a difficult.
right.
But I hope that it does it justice.
Yeah,
You know,
that's what I mean. Yeah.
yeah, that's what that's kind of the fear that I have.
Right.
But I'm excited. You have any more thoughts?
I
I
don't
think
know.
I'm all thoughted out.
Mhm. Yeah.
I went through my notes and I couldn't
Oh,
find anything else that we didn't. The only other thing.
So then, are we ready to stop the live show? Do you guys have anything?
Yeah, no, I think that was really it.
All
We
right.
Yeah,
didn't
this
get
is
any
a
yeah.
questions or anything yet, so
Yeah, you guys can just like tweet us and stuff. Participate in the Goodreads. The Goodreads link is already in the description bar, so you guys can add that so you can see what our upcoming books are and stuff, and follow
yeah.
along what we're
Share with your friends as well.
Yep. Feel free to share it. Follow
Yeah.
Twitter and stuff, because the Twitter's where you'll get most of the updates. You know, for instance, the channel change and like when we had the reschedule the date. So definitely keep up on the Twitter so that you know when things are happening.
Yeah,
Um,
just make sure to keep an eye out for whose channel it's going to be on, what date, and what time we're going to the next live show one.
yeah, as soon as we know, we'll let you guys
Yeah.
know.
yeah, I'm sure we'll all announce it on our individual channels once we have a live date set and everything anyway, so.
Yep.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure you go check out all of the other host channels and stuff. Again, they're all in the description. So thank you guys so much for watching, and hope you'll join us. Bye.
Bye!
Bye.